This is the story of the 10 most ridiculous classic car features ever. The modern car owner has never even seen some of the classic car features, let alone used them. In the past, automobiles featured hand-cranked window cranks, radio antennas, foot-activated light switches, and more, not to mention how well stereo systems and even the interior materials of seats have evolved. Some features still remain, while others have become outdated due to technology. At number 10 is the wrist twist swivel system.
Elimination of the steering wheel means additional room that is mighty important on entry and exit. Although the appearance may seem startling at first, the wrist twist steering control takes very little practice to get used to. Two 5-inch rings turn simultaneously and are manipulated easily with one or both hands. A comfort feature of the wrist twist system is the addition of armrests for both controls. Since only a light touch is necessary, the arms may rest solidly on the supports, just like in your favorite easy chair.
Back in the 1960s, car manufacturers were doing things to differentiate themselves. Chevrolet created this unique new wheel that would lock the driver's wrists into holders with levers to shift gears. Since the driver's hands could not move and the levers were confusing, it was never seriously utilized. Maybe we shouldn't take reinventing the wheel too seriously. At number 9 is swivel seats.
What's this? It's the most welcome car idea in years. DeSoto's new sports swivel seats lets a man step out easily. Lets a lady step out gracefully.
Despite sounding good on paper, it didn't work out in practice. The concept was straightforward. A swivel seat that allowed the driver to swing in place instead of climbing out. Some models had it for the passenger sides to turn around and allow them to converse with the passengers in the rear. There are obvious safety issues with these seats in case of an accident, but the real problem was that the seat didn't lock when driving, which was distracting, and it wasn't one size fits all. Stationary seats are really the best option. At number 8, water balloon bumpers. The title of this one sounds like something straight out of a cartoon. John Rich was assigned to come up with new safety features for city cars in the 1960s. The idea was to use giant balloons filled with water that would bounce a little more in case of a bump. Though it sounds crazy, it worked for a while and was popular for taxicabs in New York and San Francisco. It ended up costing about $1,100 to replace these bumpers, which was quite a bit of money at the time. At number 7, the swing-away steering wheel. From the time cars were created, it only made sense to make sure the steering wheel was always in the right location to be used most effectively. To make driving easier, in 1961, Ford introduced a wheel that could be moved out of the way. The passenger may even be able to drive when they leaned forward a bit. Having this instead of just adjusting the seats seemed off. And there was the issue if the wheel unlocked unexpectedly while driving. The fact that no one has been able to replicate it since shows that fitting the wheel in place is usually a good thing. At number 6 is vinyl roofs. Sadly, car manufacturers have a habit of cutting corners and compromising quality too often. During the 1960s and 70s, cars, usually convertibles, avoided regular tops and replaced them with vinyl ones. Getting on and off could be a hassle, not to mention the hardship in harsher weather.
Mustang vinyl roofs too.
Damage was too common, and they were too easy to tear, even though they are still in mild use today. It appears foolish for a modern car owner to cover their roof with plastic instead of a real roof. At number 5 is the in-car record player. As crazy as it sounds, the idea came about in much the same way as car radio did, taking something that people enjoy at home and converting it for use in an automobile. The 1950s idea flopped, but in-car record players are historic in that they were the automotive world's first attempt at offering car occupants the chance to make their own musical selections. The in-car phonograph, called the Highway Hi-Fi record player, was designed by CBS Laboratories in the 1950s. The Highway Hi-Fi was available as a factory-installed option in new Chrysler products. It was an absolute failure. At number 4 is the Glovebox minibar. The style of luxury cars in the 1950s cannot be better captured than this. The 1957 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham had a full-scale minibar in the glove box. It wasn't just a bottle, but several elegant glasses, a tray, an ice tray, and even magnets to keep the coasters in place. It shows how DUIs weren't a major concern at the time. Just try having this in the front if you get pulled over today. Some Jaguar models have reinstated this feature today, despite the fact that mixing drinks on the road will be extremely difficult. At number 3 is the Ice Maker. Among Toyota's biggest flops, the van died a quick death in 1984. In addition to the lame name, it also had a 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine that barely produced 90 horsepower.
You can even get an ice maker. And 2 sunroofs.
I know, it's a condominium.
Make no mistake about it, the new Toyota van.
Trying to win people over, Toyota thought it'd be a great idea to include an ice maker in this van. Yes, a full-on ice maker in a van that barely handled a long drive. Sadly, this did not entice customers, and the van was quickly put on ice. At number 2 is the bolt-in bed seats. In 1964, in an attempt to boost the ailing U.S. auto industry, a 25% chicken tax was implemented on foreign-made cars. Some companies moved their plants to the U.S., but Subaru couldn't afford to do so. As a result, they installed fixed seats in the back of pickups so that they could be sold as passenger cars.
Introducing the Subaru Brat, fun on wheels. The Subaru Brat is a new kind of car that shifts from front-wheel to four-wheel drive at the flick of a lever. And the Brat's back is wide open. So is the fun you can have in its 2 outdoor seats.
These seats barely had any protection, except for what looked like a ski rack. And while they can be seen now and then today, it shows what happens when a company tries to skate by regulations. At number 1 is the Lightning Rod Shifter. Shifters can be amazing. This one wasn't. It was designed by Hurst to help with shifting through the use of 3 levers, one for each gear and function. The issue was that it was too easy for a driver to grab the wrong lever and shift the car into park, rather than higher gears. Also, it looked unattractive and overly obtrusive, and the car computers, which were already low-key at the time, had trouble handling 3 levers doing what one easily could. This car had its fans, but it also proves that sometimes less is more when it comes to car features. Well, there you have it, the 10 most ridiculous classic car features ever. Which was your favorite? We'd like to know. Leave a comment below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell for future video notifications. Again, thanks for watching the Boca Brothers Car Review.